She's a high school teacher, but she was shopping for a sofa during class. When a student asked about the lesson plan, she paused for a second, then just put on a movie for them. During break, she caught her student Mary sneaking a smoke, so they struck a deal. For every pound Mary lost, and if she stopped smelling like smoke, she'd get 100 yuan as a reward. Watching Mary walk away, all she wanted was to put this girl on the right path before her time ran out. Her name is Rosie. She's been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. When she found out about her illness, she chose to accept it and kept it all a secret. Rosie looked back on her life. What she wanted most was to change herself. So much of her life had been out of her control. Rosie loved onions, but because her husband hated the smell, she hadn't eaten one in 15 years. But Rosie decided to finally put herself first. She started making all kinds of onion dishes. She wanted to get rid of their old sofa after 5 years, but her husband thought she was being unreasonable. So late at night, Rosie spilled red wine on the sofa and danced to music, enjoying rare happiness. For once, she didn't want to compromise. Her biggest headache was her son. One day, she asked him to help with chores, but he cut his finger. Rosie panicked and bandaged him up, but when she turned around, her son was grinning mischievously. She realized she'd been fooled again. So Rosie decided to teach him a lesson. That night, she pretended to drown herself in the bathtub. Her son freaked out, called for help, and then turned to see his mom standing right there.
Someday, I am going to be dead, and as a courtesy to the world, I don't want to leave them the guy who doesn't know how to get his shit to flush. And let me be clear!
Rosie dumped leftovers into the toilet, then locked her son in the bathroom. She wanted him to learn to be independent. The day after her diagnosis, she kicked her husband out. Confused, he tried to patch things up. He invited her out to dinner, but they barely talked before arguing again. The next day, he showed up at the door with a whole onion and took a huge bite out of it. That moment made Rosie realize her husband still loved her. But just as things started to get better, a call from the doctor sent everything back to zero. Her husband thought Rosie was cheating, and they had another big fight. Rosie cried, but didn't explain. She needed her time back. Rosie always wanted a pool, but as soon as construction started, the neighbor reported it. Work stopped for 3 months, but time was exactly what Rosie didn't have. So she stormed into the neighbor's house and let out all her anger. Late at night, she dumped the sofa in the hole for the pool. Her only company was a dog. Rosie tried to be strong, but alone in the dark, she finally broke down. Ever since her cancer diagnosis, Rosie's life had completely changed. Now all she wanted was to spend time with her family. But her son Adam was about to leave for summer camp. She didn't want to let him go. She said there were so many things she still wanted to do with him, but Adam didn't know his mom was terminally ill. Angry, he left the restaurant. The next day, Rosie wanted to play video games with him. Adam was still upset. He flat out refused. So Rosie went out for ice cream alone. She spotted a flyer and followed the address to a support group. People encouraged each other and shared their lives. It gave Rosie some comfort. Cancer brought her immense pressure, but she couldn't tell her family, so she poured her heart out to strangers. When she finished, but the next day, they showed up at her door. They brought her a pot of stew and left her with words of comfort. Looking at the gift, Rosie was touched. She called her relatives and friends and invited them over for dinner. Everyone was chatting and laughing, but Rosie felt lonely. She felt like she didn't really belong at the table.